ja. Verstecken Sie jetzt was sagen?
Radio.
Radio, soll der Papa leise machen?
Creativity is for me like gravity, just to keep me on the ground, but in the same time to make me fly, you know. My daddy had a recorder with cassette tapes. When I was like 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, he recorded my voice with a microphone. So it started with a tape and a little recorder.
I think I was born to create. I can't imagine my life without creating anything. My life is really about that, and I really need to find that balance between the creation and the everyday life. I cannot explain why, it's just that this is that way.
Some people are just very driven creatively. I started creating some stories probably before I learned to read.
I must have been interested in storytelling because I had an old typewriter, and I remember I would type on it. You know, it's those things that ka-chunk, and you must have seen them like back on Google.
I basically used to direct all my friends when we were playing games. Like you just play, you know, just playing like 8-year-old kids playing with Ken of Star Wars toys or playing with Lego, and I'd always decide that like you could play with the front but not with the back because the back looked rubbish but the front was good.
I got a cassette player and started making Star Wars radio dramas by just recording and playing the music on a CD player and then doing the voices and having my toys and pressing the buttons and making the laser sound effects and stuff.
I remember going to the cinema and seeing these great movies from like Steven Spielberg, these big spectacle movies, and thinking, this isn't just a great movie, I think I could do something like this.
I started studying film and realizing that's what film is. It's just a visual way of telling stories, and that's when I fell in love with filmmaking.
And then there's just like the version of filmmaking that you did when you were 3, and then there's the version of filmmaking that you did when you were 8, and then when you were maybe 14, oh, you actually have a camera, so now you can actually do the version of filmmaking where you're actually making a film.
When I was young, I would take my dad's camcorder and we would go outside and we would recreate the scenes we'd see in the movie theater.
Once I became introduced to the medium of filmmaking, it was really easy to just sort of flex my storytelling, I wouldn't call it my abilities, my storytelling needs.
I don't remember ever being not either a filmmaker or a frustrated filmmaker, basically.
And I was kind of inspired to try stop motion animation after I saw a behind the scenes special on TV.
It became more of an interest when I got introduced to animation because it didn't require anyone else to be there. I could do it at like 1 in the morning till I had to go to school in the morning. It didn't matter if it was just me chugging away at it.
It's self-contained. You can do everything on your own at your own pace.
But nobody actually thinks that stop motion animation is easy to do. And in fact, they get really surprised about, like, what, you just take a picture and you make thousands of them and you put them all together? How long does this take you?
Stop motion animation is a very time-consuming process. In stop motion animation, you pose your characters in a series of different positions, capturing one still image, one frame at a time. And when you play back the frames together at a fast enough rate, it creates the illusion of motion. So for a stop motion film that is 60 seconds long, at 12 frames per second, you have to take 720 of these pictures.
That is the most extreme version of production. It's like taking every single frame and caring about that. The natural progression seemed to be do it with Lego because